The film opens in a universe broken by war, a war fought between humans and the mysterious alien race known as the Covenant. This enormous conflict wiped out entire worlds. Neither side won, but the destruction left behind was enough to end civilizations. In the aftermath, both species agreed to a tense, fragile truce. The deal stated that humans and the Covenant would stop attacking each other's colonies. But trust was something neither side truly had. Earth, the home of humanity, had already been reduced to ashes. With their planet destroyed, humans scattered across multiple colonies and distant planets, struggling to survive among the stars. Even after the treaty, one thing was certain. The Covenant was unpredictable and often broke their promises. Because of this, Commander Locke and his special operations team stayed on constant watch, secretly monitoring Covenant activities from the shadows. One day, during one of these surveillance missions, something suspicious happened. An alien named Sadra arrived quietly, looking around as if to ensure he wasn't being followed. Locke's team zoomed in and observed him handing a sealed object to a human smuggler. The team immediately scanned the object from afar. The reading shocked them. It was a bomb. Understanding the severity of the situation, Locke ordered immediate action. One soldier leaped toward the smuggler and pinned him down. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad sprinted after the alien, who had already begun fleeing toward the main city. They contacted city security, warning officials that a dangerous threat had entered the area. Sadra ran through the busy streets, pushing past crowds, and eventually disappeared into a dark tunnel. Locke followed him, and a violent fight broke out. The alien was strong and managed to knock Locke to the ground before escaping again, this time into a large shopping mall. Locke, refusing to give up, pursued him through the maze of hallways. Finally, he cornered Sadra, but instead of surrendering, the alien looked at Locke and smiled. "This is only the beginning," he said. Then he activated the bomb. The device exploded instantly, killing Sadra on the spot. But what came afterward was far worse than any physical blast. A massive wave of strange, glowing energy spread through the city. At first, people thought nothing had happened. No one saw flames, no one heard screams. But minutes later, the horrifying effects began. Citizens suddenly clutched their throats. It became difficult for them to breathe. People collapsed on the streets, gasping for air. Their veins glowed blue as if something inside their bodies was changing. Even some of Locke's own agents, who were closest to the bomb, fell gravely ill. They were rushed to the hospital. Within minutes, the hospital became overwhelmed. Scientists soon discovered a terrifying truth. The bomb had been designed to attack only humans. Animals, plants, everything else was unaffected. This meant the Covenant had created a weapon engineered specifically to kill human DNA at an alarming speed. The colonel examined his team, checking for signs of infection. Only 2 of his soldiers had been affected, but he could not ignore the growing number of civilians becoming sick. Doctors worked desperately, but most victims didn't survive. Then came the worst news of all. The colonel's own daughter had been exposed to the energy wave. Despite all attempts to save her, she died. This loss ignited something inside him, not just duty, but a deep desire for justice and revenge. They interrogated the captured smuggler, forcing him to reveal where the deadly bioagent came from. Terrified, the smuggler confessed. It came from the Alpha Halo, a broken space ring located dangerously close to a burning red star. It was a place few dared to visit, a place that felt like hell itself. Their mission became clear. They needed to reach the Alpha Halo, find the source of the virus, and destroy it before the Covenant launched an even bigger attack on humanity. The only problem? The Alpha Halo was so close to the star that daytime temperatures could vaporize anything instantly. They only had 16 hours of safety during the night cycle to complete the mission. The team prepared their gear and traveled toward the ring. Their ship couldn't land, so they were forced to jump, free-falling through the atmosphere before landing on the ruined surface. The area looked abandoned, but danger lurked everywhere. Soon found an empty smuggler ship with a still-hot engine, meaning the smugglers had arrived recently. But something strange caught their eye: parachutes and several horses. Machines malfunctioned near the Red Star, so the smugglers used animals instead. The team followed the tracks until they discovered a cave where 2 smugglers hid with the bioagent. Subdued the smugglers, secured the agent, and called their ship back. But the moment the ship arrived, the nightmare began. The ground emerged a horrifying swarm of worm-like creatures known as the Olgolo. These creatures could sense the slightest movement. They devoured flesh, metal, and anything that moved. The worms attacked the ship, crawled inside, and ate the pilot alive. The team watched helplessly as the ship spiraled out of control, crashing into the rocks and cutting off their escape. Panic spread. More worms appeared. 3 soldiers died painfully. The survivors ran into a cave for shelter. A smuggler explained that the worms detected technology, so everyone shut off their equipment. When the worms crawled by, the team stayed completely still, holding their breath. Hours later, they resumed their journey. Exhaustion made every step harder. Locke remembered the earlier smuggler ship. It had 2 seats, which meant only 2 could escape. Their own ship was destroyed, and calling for backup was impossible. Tension grew. One soldier suggested they rely on luck. Another suggested killing the smugglers to reduce numbers. The smugglers argued back, saying that without them, no one could operate the ship. While arguing, they kept moving. A female soldier dropped her breathing device. The active signal alerted the Worms, and they swarmed her instantly. Her friend tried to help, but she had already been eaten. The Worms chased the team again. Locke fell over a rock, putting him in immediate danger, but a quick-thinking soldier activated her gear and threw it aside. The Worms redirected toward the signal, buying Locke time. Stood frozen until the Worms left. An hour passed, dawn approached. They had only 3 hours left before the sun rose. One soldier, terrified of dying, shoved a smuggler toward the Worms, sacrificing him to save himself. The Worms devoured the smuggler, allowing the team to escape. Long after, the team spotted someone familiar, a soldier who had previously died. But when they looked closer, they realized the Worms had formed his shape to lure them. It was a horrifying trick. Ramos, one of the soldiers, grew increasingly selfish. He asked a friend to stay behind with him. When they slowed down, Ramos pushed his friend off a cliff. When questioned, he lied, claiming his friend slipped. Ramos later pulled a gun on the team with help from another soldier. He forced the last remaining smuggler to guide them toward the functioning ship. Locke tried to stop them, but they refused to listen. Their only goal was survival. Meanwhile, Locke's group reached their crashed ship. Although damaged, the engine could still run using backup power. The colonel made a heartbreaking decision. "You two go," he told Locke and Macer. "I'll stay." Locke refused, insisting they decide fairly. The colonel broke his daughter's bracelet, creating beads. White meant escape, red meant stay. Locke and Macer drew white, leaving the colonel behind. Ship lifted into the sky, but Ramos reached the smuggler's ship and tried to breathe, only to find his partner's oxygen tank empty. The smuggler escaped but was eventually killed by the Worms. Ramos's partner betrayed him, throwing his gear at Ramos. The Worms devoured Ramos. Seconds later, gunshots attracted more Worms, killing the partner too. In the air, Locke's ship malfunctioned and crashed again. The Worms heard the noise and attacked. The colonel, knowing he had little time left, activated his gear and ran into the open, drawing the Worms away from Locke and Macer. His sacrifice bought them enough time to reach the smuggler's ship. The sun rose and the red star's heat intensified. They barely escaped into space. From above, they saw the Alpha Halo turning red-hot. Then a massive explosion erupted. The colonel had destroyed the bioagent. Locke and Macer watched in sorrow. Their commander was gone, but his sacrifice had saved humanity from extinction. And with that, the movie ends.